Hello, everyone. Welcome back to watching the Roselyn Omaka Show, and I am with a very special group. I have the amazing Kalvin Spells, and he brought some amazing friends, Lauren and Cam. And would y'all like to introduce yourselves to everybody?
Yes, we can. Hi everybody. My name is Kalvin Spells. I am the owner, CEO, and founder of K9 Fitness. I am also the head swim coach at the Houstonian.
Hello, my name is Lauren Gill. I also work at the Houstonian as the aquatics program coordinator, and I will be a student at Texas Women's University.
Hey, I love it. Congrats.
Hi, I'm Kamren McKinney-Lyons. I am the assistant swim coach at the Houstonian.
So the Houstonian, this is a very an elite group right here. The Houstonian, guys, if you don't know the Houstonian, it's a very elite, the best club in Houston. Would you like to explain more about the reputation?
Yeah. So with the Houstonian, it's known for being private. It's very upscale. Number one spa in Texas. I mean, it's phenomenal. A lot of people go there just to relax. Just kind of escape. From the business world. So I think that's one of the great things that it does provide. As far as people just relaxing, because sometimes you can get caught up so much in just business that you forget to take care of yourself. So I think the Houstonian does a great job of that.
Yeah, and when I think about all of you, you're so young, and obviously we're all melanated people. What was it like? Did you always want to like be there or like get in these spaces for, I would say, when you think about the level of excellence of just where you work and the reputation that you have, what was that transition into getting there? Did you always just knew you wanted to swim? Because a lot of kids, like they say, don't know how to swim.
So for me, it definitely was a build-up, and I'll let them explain a little bit more as well. But the opportunity presented itself to me. I've always been in the swim world. Was a competitive swimmer since I was 7 years old, and so when this opportunity presented itself, I'm like, why not? That's a passion of mine. So why not? Continue. I actually didn't know anything about the Houstonian. Until the opportunity presented itself. So they're that private. And so when it did, I was like, this is just not another opportunity to operate within my passion. So
Nice. And what about you, Lauren?
So everything very similar to Calvin's story. I've been swimming since I was 6 years old competitively. Calvin actually put me on the Houstonian, and yeah, before he told me, I had no idea what it was either. And I actually was trying to get away from swimming, but it just finds its way. Yeah, it just keeps finding its way back to me, and I'm not mad about it.
That means you're great.
Yeah,
That means you're great at it, and you're probably a natural.
I think so, because yeah, it just won't get away from me. But yeah, it's just continue to spreading my knowledge about the sport to the younger generation, and yeah, just making this difference, and yeah.
And how did you get into this, Cam?
Oof. I remember I started swimming at 7 years old, 2007, right before my 8th birthday.
All of you started around similar ages.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember I was at the neighborhood pool one day and I saw the team practicing, and I told my mom I want to do that. So a couple weeks later, she signed me up for the team, and since then, everything's history.
What are your goals within swimming, and what are you wanting to do with that?
So I've always had the long-term goal of owning my own swim school for predominantly Black children. That's been a goal for mine for a long time. But just as of recently, I just graduated college, and yeah, I'm just really just discovering different opportunities at this point right now. But if that's something that happens in the future, hey, it's gonna happen.
I
So
feel like you could tease. I feel like you could tease. What do you mean? Like I keep calling you back.
yeah.
yeah, so because I graduated in marketing and management, and I'm going to TW to get my master's in marketing, and so just using that to do whatever my journey takes me. Yeah.
Listen, sports marketing. That's a good
that's
combination.
another thing. Yeah,
I'm
sports
saying.
marketing. Yeah.
I am just saying.
Even in the swim world, maybe do some marketing for the Olympics or something like that.
Any Olympic athletes, if you are watching this, which I know several of you will be watching this, there are some amazing people here. And we still got to talk about that.
Yeah.
And actually, let's talk about your plans
Yeah.
because I see you're repping a pretty awesome shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about it.
So, I actually love what I do. Like, it's a passion, you know. I think that the world requires certain individuals, and I'm definitely that individual for swimming. So, like, for me, one of the ways I'm giving back to my family is by teaching them how to swim. So we have a set day of the week right about now, you know.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I teach them, you know, I'm teaching my little cousins how to swim because it's not that black people don't know how to swim. We just don't have the opportunity and the resources in our neighborhoods to learn how to swim.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, how can I basically teach the world how to swim? You know, because it's not just solely about black kids. You know, it's about swimming in general. Like, there are a lot of people besides black kids that don't know how to
Yeah, they
swim.
don't
But of
know,
course,
yeah.
you know, focusing on giving back to my community and my race, starting with my family and then gradually going into the neighborhood, you know, teaching them how to swim and then just spreading. So I am actually in the process, you know, of looking around, you know, to build my own pool because that is something that I do want to do and I
Cool.
will do it just to give back, you know. So I love what I do. I wake up every day, you know, I'm blessed to be able to teach kids how to swim. Like I say, I'm head coach now. As far as coaching, I'm not really sure where God is going to lead me. But if that's to the Olympics, hey, I'm coming, you know. But one of the things that I want to do with my brand, which is K9 Fitness, I would love to sponsor swim teams, you know, with my clothes. So heavy on the mental aspect of it as well. I think a lot of people kind of look over the fact that us as African American swimmers, those who do swim, that it is not easy, you know, especially on the mental aspect, that there are some adversities, you know, that we do go through because it is a predominantly white sport. And so I definitely want to, you know, add to that as well.
And just to ask you, in case if anybody's watching and they don't understand, what adversities typically do black swimmers go through in comparison?
So I think it's subjective to each individual because, I mean, we're all different people. We've all been in different spaces in the swim world. We've all been to different competitions, I mean, different states, things like that. And so, like, for me, per se, I mean, the stairs, of course, I mean, right when you walk in, it's just like, I mean, like, what they doing here? It's like, yeah, we're about to beat your son. That's what we're about to do. We're about to beat your daughter, you know? And it's not a cocky thing. It's just like, I'm coming to race just like everybody else. Like, you know, and so why do I have to be, you know,
But maybe they're looking at you because they just know they're about to lose.
Hey, I'm
just saying.
I don't underestimate nobody, but you can tell also the difference in the stairs too, though. It's kind of like, when you've been in it so long, you can kind of tell like, oh, okay, I kind of see what this is. Or there's like certain comments. I've gotten certain comments, you know, as far as, hey, like, you know, you what's your times? Like, do you really swim? You know, I mean, like, it's like slick comments, you know, where they're not trying to necessarily be like racist, but it's
Do
like,
you really swim?
yeah. Oh, I've gotten, I mean, from comments, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's African American that's been in the sport on a club level.
You know what's actually funny?
can
I
add
did
to
get
that.
asked, did I swim a couple days ago? Never mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a real thing. You know.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
these
then
are swim.
yeah, and then they're shocked like whenever you actually get into the water. So I had one individual place where I had to prove that I can swim in order to like actually be in that place. And I'm like, interesting. But when I got in the water, oh, your technique is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, you can swim. Can you, but why does it have to take that for me to be in that space? You know, I've been in places also where I get into the pool and people get out. I'm like, cool. You know, like that doesn't bother me. You
That
know?
still happens?
But it's sad. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
When did something like that happen? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, I've also had it to where I've actually heard with my own ears, yeah, that N-word is in the water. Yeah. You know, so it's different things like that within the sport, you know, that I feel definitely get covered up, you know, because there's not that many of us. And I think that's the whole purpose, you know, the message that I want to portray outside of Black people that we do swim is that, you know, the racial aspect of it is very real. Like, it's very real, you know, and that just adds on to the competition aspect, because it's like, okay, well, now individuals such as like Cullen Jones, Simone Manuel, Natalie Hines, you know, I mean, you could just name them. They imagine if we're dealing with this on this level and we're not even at an Olympic level, what they're dealing with, you know?
Yeah.
I will say I have been lucky to not have faced adversity because all of my teammates and all of my swim teams that I've been on throughout my life, they've all been very supportive of me. No negative vibes whatsoever. So yeah, I've been very lucky, but not everybody has gone through the same experience as me. Like there's probably some other girls out there who have definitely faced adversity. But for me, I would say I have a quiet struggle that nobody really, on all of my swim teams that I've been throughout my years, the hair, especially for a black girl, hair is probably one of the most difficult things. Is probably why a lot of black girls you don't see a lot of black girls swimming because of hair. And that's just was a quiet struggle for me, having to just deal with hair and not being able to wear certain hairstyles because it won't fit in the cap and things like that. So just wanted to speak on that.
I understand everything you said. As a fellow black girl, yes.
Yes.
I'm looking at you like, yes. I know all the girls are listening.
Yeah.
What's a big lack of knowledge that people talk about within the swimming industry where you feel like you come into play to help? And this can be for any one of you, by the way.
I'm gonna start.
Okay. Well, there's different parts to it. So the professional, just spreading my knowledge about the sport, the techniques and teaching just kids who don't know how to swim to swim. And then the other part is not a lot of black people know how to swim. So
You don't have to be shy.
Yeah, say that.
Say black people,
Yeah,
black
yeah,
people.
we spreading the message. sending the
Beautiful and
message.
black.
So
Yeah.
and it's crazy because we're in this position where they would not expect a black person to be in that position teaching their kids how to swim. So
I get asked, can you
definitely-
swim all the time? And I'm like, yes, I can swim.
Yeah. So that and just representing our skin color in this sport. In this.
Is there anything you want to add to it?
So for me, I think number one, I don't like the stereotype of black people don't swim because we do. And it's very, very, very irritating at the fact that we limit ourselves to the sports of football, basketball, and track. We don't realize as a race that when it comes to going to college that there is scholarship money when it comes to swimming. But it's not just about the competitive aspect. So for me, the competitive aspect is fun, yes, but we have to also keep in mind that it's a life skill. And I think that's where a lot of people really get it. I'm not gonna say misconstrued because a lot of people understand that it's a life sport, but they're scared of like the water and some people have no background to say, oh, I don't swim or I've never learned how to swim because that's something that is taught. You hear a lot of the times, oh yeah, black people don't swim. So of course one would be like, oh yeah, nah, I'm not getting in the water. Like black people don't swim. You're robbing yourself of an opportunity, because swimming has taken me to phenomenal places. I mean, from traveling to, all types of opportunities, now it has taken me to, through some lessons as well, but I think circling back that people need to understand that it's a life skill and that we as African Americans drown twice as much as white Americans, twice as much.
How many people drown? I was kind of going to ask you that question.
I haven't looked at the exact statistic, but I do know that there is 52%, of the world that does know how to swim. So that's a little
52.
bit, that's a little bit over, and if I'm not mistaken, it's about 45% of adults that don't know how to swim. That's a big stat when you talk about the world being made up of mostly water.
Exactly. I was thinking that. I'm like,
That's where I come into the play, where we come into the play as setting that standard, to let people know that, hey, we do swim. It is a life skill and it does present, opportunities, if you were to follow through. So.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor, More Life by Lily. After diving into the world of swimming, it's crucial to dive into something equally refreshing and healthy. That's where More Life by Lily comes in. Her cold-pressed juices, bursting with all natural ingredients, are the perfect post-swim choice. So whether you're doing laps or enjoying your aquatic fun adventures, make sure you stop and enjoy a refreshing drink. And make sure you also follow them on their Instagram page, More Life by Lily.
What does your body mean to you?
My body is a temple that represents my mindset and the characteristics of determination, consistency, and perseverance. My lower back injury is a reminder of a lot of things, but most importantly of a quote by the great Vince Lombardi that states, "Pain is often temporary, giving up is what makes it permanent." Through the vigorous process, it was rough mentally and physically, but after every storm, there's a rainbow. From this particular storm came about a fitness clothing line called K9 Fitness that was built on the foundation of transform the renewing of your mind through fitness and nutrition. In conclusion, you have time for what you make time for, and always remember, get yours.
I'm on my way to see one of my favorite clients. I have a delivery for her. I can't wait for her to see it.
Needs to come here now and
Hey, how are you?
My
brought
favorite
you-
person.
I brought you a
gosh.
delivery.
I love this so much. You make this fresh every time.
Yes, absolutely. Every time. I bake to order. Everything's fresh. I don't put anything in the freezer.
I
It's
know.
fresh.
I
It's
can
fresh.
taste it. But I saw some other things that you had. I know you make a lot.
Yes, I do. Pecan pie bars, lemon bars, and still everything's made fresh.
Oh, my stomach.
I don't freeze anything.
Ooh,
so
okay.
you ready to cut your cake?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Cut
I'm
it.
ready. Oh my goodness.
It's not that I don't want you here. Yeah, yeah. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear.
No, it was just crazy. It just made me think. Yeah.
Yeah. And they continue to die. You know, aside from just like the competitive aspect and it being a life skill, a lot of people also don't have the education of just simply water, you know, and like being around water. People,
scary.
People think that, oh, because I'm a swimmer that I won't drown. That is incorrect. People that know how to swim drown all the time, you know, or like when it comes to just simple rescues, do not, if you don't know how to swim, do not jump into the water trying to save somebody else. That is how a double drowning happens. What you're supposed to do, and I understand the circumstance, but you're supposed to go get somebody else who does know how to swim. Why lose two? Why lose any when we can
so
just
people
go get
jump
somebody?
in the thing if they don't know how to swim.
Absolutely.
And they,
Well, because you got to think about the natural instinct. So like
yeah.
if that was your brother, your cousin, you like, forget I don't know how to swim. I'm finna go get him.
yeah.
But the goal, we're not trying to lose anybody.
Yeah.
So go get somebody or learn the education. And so that's where we come into the play. Learn the education of it to say, oh, okay. Well, I know aside from calling somebody, I know I can go get like a stick or I can go get something long to, hey, grab onto it. Or even if you're comfortable getting into the water, get you an anchor, hold on to the anchor, then reach out, you know, if they're within arm's reach. Okay, now you have a stable anchor to where you can pull them in and you're still here. Now you've saved a life, you know?
My father, years ago, there was a war. And, you know, you had, without talking about the groups of people, I will just say that people were trying to kill my family and other groups of people. And there was a big, wide river. And you had to, you either swim or you die. A lot of people died.
Yeah.
And my father, fortunately, he swam. He's a really good swimmer. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So, random facts. I don't even think I told you that.
No.
But yeah, it is very, very, very important to learn this skill because you never know, especially in the climate of today with the powers that may be and the games they play with all of our lives. You never know what situation, regardless of war, life. Yeah, thank you.
It's a passion. It's genuinely a passion, you know, and I, like I say, I think that God put me on this earth, you know, to fulfill that. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I start all of my swim lessons, you know, with water safety, water education. I teach all of my lessons with no goggles. I can't see.
Why do you teach it with no goggles?
And I'm
Because
glad you asked. Because
get dependent on them.
exactly,
Yeah.
I need you to learn how to swim and know at least like what you're doing without goggles. When you fall into the water, I don't need your first instinct to be, where are my goggles?
Yeah, like, it's not realistic.
You know?
Yeah,
So-
we've had practices where
take them
we had to
goggles off.
swim without goggles.
Yeah. And we've had practice where we had to swim with shoes on, kick with shoes on.
Oh, full unclothed.
That's so hard.
Yes. You know, it's a real
Shoes,
thing.
Long sleeve shirts,
Yeah.
pants.
All of it.
Life-saving.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you
That
just
weighs you
never
down.
know. You just
Weighs
never
you
know.
down.
You know, you just never know. You could fall into the water and then what? Oh, because you got all your clothes on, you can be like, oh, well, Jesus, take it. No. Like, I need you to learn, like, okay, put my face in the water. I'm going to use my arms, or treading water.
Tread.
When you tread water, okay, cool. I can look at my surroundings. Okay, what is something I can grab onto? Okay. Now, let's just say you get tired. Okay, boom, I'm folding
Float
my
my
back.
back.
Folding
Yeah.
my back.
That's the
gathering
main
some
thing.
air.
I'm gonna
I
say
like
in my
to teach
case, I'm
float-
going down.
But you know, float on your back,
I'm
get
like
you some
learning-
air,
I'm like-
and then yeah.
That's
I mean,
the
it's
main
all
thing
in the
I like to
education, but
teach.
that is the things that are not being taught again because of the opportunity and the resources that are not in our neighborhoods. And then if they are, the lifeguards are not properly trained, or they can barely swim themselves, or you know, the pool is not in the best condition. You know, and so that's another thing that I want to do is just go around building pools in those neighborhoods, helping the lifeguards, actually know how to do CPR and save individuals, because it's a serious thing.
Yeah, I always start my lessons off with the basics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bubbles, floating,
Absolutely.
I just thought about something though.
treading maybe.
You said, I know we want to help each other, but you said help the lifeguards. Isn't the lifeguards supposed to know how to swim?
And they're supposed to.
They're supposed to, but
not all lifeguards, well, it's two aspects for me. Not all lifeguards are in it for the actual job because it's a paycheck. Some people are like, oh yeah, I can swim a little bit, so I'm going to collect this
let me
paycheck.
just
Not
do
good.
it. Yeah.
Right. But then also in that
Oh, I'm a
aspect,
doctor.
yeah,
You
that.
did.
But in that aspect, also you don't have certain individuals who are firm with that. As far as, oh well, you barely made it across the pool, but you made it, so I guess now we can move on to the next thing. And that is what adds to improper training, of lifeguards. It's like if you see somebody struggling learning how to swim, you're now being selfish in the aspect that you're not thinking about other people, putting them in this position. That's like putting a medic who don't know how to do, a simple skill, within being a paramedic. But you're gonna put them in the back of an ambulance to help save a life? So it's the same thing, when it comes to lifeguarding. And I think a lot of us don't really take lifeguarding serious until you come into an actual situation and you like,
Yep.
oh snap.
Oh no, what I do? How many?
And it's sad because now that's a life
compressions?
loss, and it's a chain effect because that's a life loss because the person who was at the top, who was supposed to be training that individual, let that individual down, by not properly training them or holding them, keeping them accountable, holding them to the certain standard in which they should be. And so now you have a Johnny on your hands,
Yeah.
I think there's definitely ways that
Lawsuit.
a lot of stuff can be prevented, but it starts with education. Yeah.
That's
But also wanting
you
to
like-
learn too. Because
Yeah,
a lot of us
absolutely.
are just don't want to.
Absolutely. And I think that also stems from just the stereotype, of, oh, once you hear something so much, like think about how many individuals play basketball, football, and track because of their family members, or how much they hear it in their ears, or when they're watching TV, all you see is basketball, football, and track. So whenever you hear black people don't
programmed.
swim, black people don't swim, black people don't swim, it's like, nah, my mama told me black people don't swim, so why I'm swimming? And that stereotype needs to be changed, but I think that us three sitting here, on the other individuals, because I mean, there's people of color that are swimming across the world. They are also helping, us attend to that stereotype,
And I'm thinking when it comes down to parents that are wanting to have their kids learn how to swim, because I remember there was a situation in the Woodlands and it was a lot of families getting together and it was the people that we were with and I don't know what happened. I guess, the parents looked away for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And next thing you know, like the little boy was at the bottom of the pool. And so ways to prevent stuff like that happening. Luckily, the boy was fine. We got really nervous after a while. That was a really scary day. But for parents that are looking for like, how do I teach my kids to get started? Y'all made me just think about that story. That was scary. But definitely you can provide some resources and we can list those in the description below. Just so that way people have somewhere to teach their kids. And y'all teach classes. And do you want to tell the audience about that? The resources?
Yeah, I do private lessons. But if you don't want private lessons, I would say search up your local swim club, YMCAs, Houston swim clubs, even neighborhood swim teams. I'm sure they do like private lessons too.
What would I search on Google? I'm gonna be that Googler, and I'll even put this for people that are trying to find it in their area. Like, is it public pools near me or swim coach near me? What would they search? You know?
I would say search like swim lessons near me.
Or like
I would
swim
say that's
schools.
yeah, swim schools.
Is it free? Do they have free classes for people?
Is so one other thing, and I'm gonna touch on that too. But one other thing you could type into Google if you're trying to get private lessons, you could type in Kalvin Spells with a K. You can come find me there. I can teach private lessons. You could type in Lauren Gill, also Kamren Lyons. So we do mobile, so we don't have any problems, going to. If you have access to a pool, I do. I have a lot of people that have pools in their backyards. You'd be surprised about how many people actually drown in their own pools or like pools in their backyard by not knowing how to swim because it looks cool. So those type of things. I also do swim lessons. If, like I say, if they have access to a pool like the YMCA or somewhere public, we can definitely go and do that as well. Yeah.
I will definitely be leaving a link below in the description. And is there anything else you guys would like to say to the audience? Anything that you would like them to know or want them to know?
Some of the things that I want to add, is number one, Cullen Jones, Simone Manuel, Natalie Hines, and to all the other, David Curtis, to all the other African-American individuals, male or female, who are setting such a great example. I very, 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 very much so appreciate you. Because for me, Cullen Jones, and this is specifically to you, you definitely have inspired me to swim out. Aside from my grandpa, you definitely were that icon that I was able to see on TV swimming next to Michael Phelps. And I'm thinking, oh, if he could do it and he looked like me, I can do it too. And so that was a huge motivator for me. But aside from like the Olympians, to the parents and the kids, first I'm gonna start with the parents. So parents, I highly encourage you to, if you don't know how to swim, number one, I want you to learn. But number two, I highly encourage that you put your kids in swim lessons. Save their life by putting them in swim lessons. Also, when it comes to the scholarship money, there is more money in the sports. There is more money in the world, period, besides football, basketball, and track. And that's not to take away from the talent in which you might have, within those predominantly black sports, but don't pass up the opportunity because of a stereotype. Like I say, it's very annoying, and I feel like a lot of us miss it, just because you might hear from a friend like, oh yeah, black people don't swim. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna swim either. I mean, I was literally at a predominantly black high school and there was only two, me and my boy Darren, who went to swim on at Howard, who we were the only two in school history to sign a scholarship for swimming. Like that was a huge message, that was sent, but that's to say and to encourage, even the kids that are watching this, you can do anything that you put your mind to, number one. Number two, you have three individuals here, male and female, who are telling you, besides the racial discriminations, besides all of that you can do it. Like we do swim. And that is one of the main things that I really want to push, with this message is that we do. To my young and elderly African-American females, don't let your hair be the reason why you drown, or don't let that be the reason why you miss an opportunity as far as like going to college. I understand that I don't understand, but it is very, very, very imperative that something like that you don't let that hinder you, because you never know. You could be the next Simone Manuel. You could be, the next great. There are so many things that hasn't been done in the sport. Don't let your hair stop that. You are still a beautiful black queens. But when it comes to the sport, just take full advantage, and to the world, I would say not all people are racist. Not all. So when we talk about the racial discriminations, it's to bring light that it is still happening. But I've had phenomenal supporters, when it comes, all of my coaches, for the most part, I've had a couple African-American coaches, but for the most part, all of my coaches have been white. They have been phenomenal. They have helped me get to, the level in which I competed at. And so I want to clarify that and make that very clear that not all individuals are racist. But yes, we're still shedding light and we still want to make it known that it is still happening. I highly encourage you, to get somewhere, even if you're not here in Houston, go somewhere, get into swim lessons. Besides the competitive aspect of it, it's a life skill. It's a life skill. Do you know how many people drown in their bathtubs because of they turn their back and their baby is on their stomach? Teach them, and teach yourself if you don't know how. And so that's just some of the things that I wanted to bring light and add to, the conclusion in this, that it is more than just a competitive aspect, of it. And that we're not here just to point out the blemishes. We're here to one, set an example, especially to African Americans, to let you know that, again, yes, we do swim. And I hope you've heard it enough that you hear it in your sleep, because I'm going to keep saying it. But aside from that it is a life skill, and that it is very much so important, because like I said, the world is made up of mostly of water, so it's a skill that you need to learn.
Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I really want you guys to check out our website. And when you watch this, you're gonna see at the bottom, you're gonna see all the places where you can search for a pool near you, and that way you can get started.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, just keep swimming.
Keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.